and welcome to this latest round of A Beer with Baron. And today, I'm delighted to have with me Mark Bazer, who's no stranger to having talk shows in bars. And so,
that's right.
Mark, you and I met in a pretty interesting way, a very Oak Park way. I had my eye on you as a potential guest, unbeknownst to you.
Creepy.
And we're outside George's restaurant.
That's right.
And I was getting my bike all arranged to get going, and I saw you, and my first thought was, Mike Greenberg. And then after that, I realized, wait, no, it's not Mike Greenberg.
The more successful of people who look like us.
Right.
Yes.
But I kind of steadied myself and realized it was you, and I approached you, and it's a delight to have you on because you have actually blazed the trail for interview shows in bars for over a decade now in Chicago.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you've also been living in Oak Park.
That's right.
With family, a wife, 2 children.
That's right, I do.
And so tell me first of all, I guess, the other side of Mark Bazer that people don't automatically know. I know you've got the talk show, and you've done a lot of stuff in the media, but what is it that you do during the day that helps pay the bills?
Well, I work at a company called Leo Burnett. A lot of people know it's an ad agency in Chicago. It's, I think, the biggest in Chicago.
We'll Google it later.
Yeah.
It's up there.
It's been around since 1935. I've been there for 9 years, and I'm on the new business team. So we try to get new clients. And I'm a writer on the team. Okay,
so it's the ad agency for the ad agency.
That's right.
As I've heard you describe.
That's exactly right.
Excellent. And so you are really pretty busy with that and with having a family. So why add on to it with all these other projects? What is it that drives you to?
Yeah, I guess it's I like my job. I obviously like my family, but to me, it's just having a creative outlet. Place to do something different. I started the show actually before I started working at Leo Burnett. So I was working at a part of the Tribune called Tribune Media Services, and I also had a column at Red Eye. And the show, which is called The Interview Show, is filmed at a bar called The Hideout. And it's a place where there's music and some comedy, and now there's actually a few talk shows. But at the time, I don't believe there were any talk shows there. And I'd done a few performances there, like reading a column that I wrote for Red Eye, and I kind of got bitten by the bug of being on stage, liked the place, and was looking for something to just kind of, like I said, fulfill that creative extracurricular need.
So it seems to me that a lot of it starts with being a writer, right? That's where a lot of your ideas come from and skill sets. In terms of writing for the eye versus the ear, I know that there is a difference. Yeah. So for you, what was that like when you actually started reading some of your material?
Well, that's interesting because I learned pretty quickly that one of the things that you want to do when you're reading or performing is for me, I'm writing humor stuff, you want to have a joke every line. Or at least I do. And that might be my own insecurity of needing that laugh. Whereas obviously you could write a very funny thing that had no laughs. There's dark humor or humor that isn't laugh out loud funny, but is still really funny. But being up on stage and just hearing silence when you're trying to be funny is hard. So for me it was always, is there a joke, usually at the end of a line, like are there enough laughs? And I think that also does translate well for being on the page for the type of newspaper column that I was writing at the time.
You wrote for the Red Eye.
I did.
Which is was.
It was. I guess it's still around in some capacity.
That's like the state of all of journalism. It's like, where is that in the process?
Kind of still around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's there forever now.
But it was. Red Eye had its place. It was kind of I don't know if controversial is the right word, but
edgy.
It was like some people just thought it was the worst thing in the world, and other people really embraced it. It was, I say this, when was the last time you got on the L and saw people reading the newspaper? I know some people are reading on their phone, but other people are, playing a game or watching something or on social media. But there was a period in Chicago where Red Eye was keeping the idea of reading a newspaper alive on the train because it was free for most of its run, and people would pick it up or be handed it as they. And I miss that common experience when I wouldn't know the people sitting across from me, but we would be reading the same thing. That's an old-fashioned...
on the phone, they could be doing anything. It's hard to
There's
determine.
a million things. And the column was great for me. I mean, they gave me 650 or 750 words to write what I wanted. Like, if you're a writer, what else could you ask for?
Right. You also have done a lot of editing over time. And,
I have.
And so there's one particular individual I know, historical figure,
Yeah.
Henry Kissinger. You did some editing of his.
I did.
That had to be pretty daunting.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird, too, because, I mean, I'm not, like, on the one hand, I'm not a fan of Henry Kissinger. On the other hand, I had a job to do, and I was editing his column, and editing his column was a weird experience because I talked to him once, but most of the time I went through his assistant, who was so lovely, and I would say, I would like to change this line, and then I'd hear back, Dr. Kissinger does not want to change this line, and I'd be like, all right.
At least you gave it a shot.
I mean, I gave it a shot, and I don't want to be killed, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna change it. It's not worth it. But he was. I mean, it's for all his historical problems, he was very actually nice to me, which doesn't matter in the course of history, I get. But he was a very there's people I've edited who weren't pleasant to edit. I don't want to go into who those people are. And he was perfectly pleasant. Like, he didn't always want to make the changes, but he was totally professional and actually handed in stuff that required very few edits. I mean, it was very much in his voice.
Sure.
And the one time I did talk to him, it was one of those weird experiences where it was kind of like talking to somebody doing like an impression of Henry Kissinger.
Sure.
Like, I'm like, is this Henry Kissinger or is it Dr. Strangelove? Like, So.
Excellent. Nice. So now, as far as the interview show, which, by the way, the name, the interview show, was that something that you thought of, or
I came up with it all by myself?
Did you have 27 ideas and you said, let's just stay with the most straightforward?
No, I came up with it. I didn't have I started the show, or I was starting the show, and I didn't have a name for it. I came up with it, and then I had nothing better.
It's really clear what it is.
Yeah, it stuck. And it had a kind of, it works,
Well, and you build around it so much. I mean, terrific, the guests that you've had, and, I've seen a pretty good smattering of those guests.
Yeah.
And what is your goal as you move forward with that show? You're now over 100 episodes over the last 11 years.
Yeah, we've been doing it at the bar for 11 years as a live show, and it's been on TTW, Chicago PBS, for 4 years, and we're gearing up for our 5th season. What's my goal? I guess my goal is to just keep doing it.
And see what happens?
Just keep doing it. I don't know. There's I wish I had better goals, but it's to keep doing it because I will feel like a failure if I don't keep doing it.
You feel like
and
now,
at some point I will stop doing it, and then I will feel like a failure.
It's like the movie Speed, where you can't go below 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's very much like the movie. My show, a lot of people compare my show to the movie Speed.
I can see that. So who's the villain for your show?
It's the guest. The guest. The guests are always the villain in my mind.
Okay. Now, I remember I saw at least one show where it wasn't in front of a live audience. Yeah. It was actually just you and, in this case, Ethan Hawke.
That's right, yeah.
And so, a pretty neat chance to meet a lot of interesting people. Is that partly your motivation?
Yeah.
To kind of just learn more and satiate your curiosity.
Yeah, it is. I like that. I don't, the oldest rule in journalism is that you don't do an interview to become friends with the person. Mm-hmm. That's not to say I'm out to get the person, but it's not like I wouldn't book somebody on the show thinking we're going to leave and become buddies. Like that would be the wrong reason.
Like we're going to Great America in a few minutes.
But I feel like this is a special situation here. Like we're pretty much the same person.
We are. So, it's kind of eerie. We're both from. Just to enumerate a few of those things. Yeah. Our names are the same initials.
That's right.
Went to the same college.
Yep.
Live in Oak Park with a wife and 2 kids.
Yeah.
Do you have a cat? I didn't check yet.
No, but I like them very much.
We have fair enough. We have a bar related or bar setting for a show.
Yeah.
Both under the age of 70.
Yes.
So
wait, did you already drink some of this?
Yeah, I didn't pour it out.
You said you weren't going to drink.
Well, I know. It's called spontaneity. I'm just kind of getting a little bit of my whistle wet. So, as far as Oak Park, this is an Oak Park centric show. Yeah. This will be airing for years and decades to come.
Yeah.
So with that evergreen notion in mind,
yeah.
what are some things that brought you to Oak Park, and what do you like to do here at Oak Park with your family?
I love Oak Park. Let me start off by saying that I mean, I know you're a great booster of Oak Park, but I'm a conversational booster. People are like, "Hey, you live in Oak Park? What do you think?" Oh, yeah, come out. We'll show you around. What do I like to do in Oak Park? Give me a category. Just narrow it down for
vandalism.
me. Vandalism. I do like to vandalize.
Okay.
A lot of problem with. No,
restaurants.
Restaurants.
Any restaurants?
You know where I just went that I went when we first, even maybe when we were looking around Oak Park. I've been in Oak Park for about 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I think when we were looking, we went, and then I just didn't go, is Grape Leaves.
Yes.
On Oak Park Avenue.
Absolutely.
And I forgot how much I like it. It's really good.
Nice.
And I really like, and I believe I'm pronouncing this right, I really like Delia's Kitchen.
Okay. Delia's Kitchen here on Lake Street.
Yeah.
They've got this cool thing where when you, if you want to buy a token for, I think, $3 to feed someone who's homeless or is down in their luck or is a recovering journalist like you and me, then we can go in there.
They're nice. They're really nice people. And the food is just good. It's good diner food. I love it.
One other category before we wrap up, because we zoom through the show.
Yeah, you don't want me to go through every restaurant for...
Parks. Is there a park or an entertainment venue that you particularly...
Well, it's not an Oak Park, but I do love Fitzgerald's.
Okay, we're going to edit that one out.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Okay,
get rid of that.
Across the border. You can
I'm going to go on. I'm going on Berwyn TV next week, and I'll talk about Fitzgerald's.
So laying the groundwork.
Yeah.
Real quick, for you, in terms of humor.
Yeah.
What do you think, for you anyway,
yeah.
is a key to good humor?
What is the key to good humor?
Or a key.
A key?
It's like Schneider and All in the Family. Lots of keys. Give me one of those keys to humor.
I don't know. That's a really hard question. I can answer it with saying that I like stuff that is smart and stupid at the same time.
Ah.
So I'll give you an example. Like my favorite movie of all time is Airplane.
Okay.
And some people would say Airplane is, that's funny, but it's stupid. To me, it's like one of the smartest movies ever made.
Zoolander?
I love Zoolander.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that note, because I always want to end one of my episodes on a Zoolander note.
Yeah.
One of the things I've learned is that you want to leave before people want you to go.
Yes.
And that's why with this show, we're just going to stop. We're going to have people hanging, waiting for more.
I think people have wanted to go for about 7 minutes now.
Well,
yeah.
And so with that, I just want to thank you, Mark. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
And good luck with the interview show as you move on and keep going, because I know what would happen if you stopped.
I'd feel like a failure.
That's not good.
Yeah.